Welcome, sim fans. Racing 393 for the first video of 2017. Just thought I'd do a fairly straightforward one today with the game that I've been playing for a few days now. Trying out different settings and wheel settings. Forza Motorsport 6 on the Xbox One. It's a real shame that they haven't kind of supported wheel support properly. I mean, I've also got Forza Horizon 3, and I've tried that on a wheel. Yeah, it's all right. It's probably on par with this, maybe slightly better. But I played both games on a pad, which is going against the grain a little bit, you know, race sims on a pad. Yeah, and it's actually better. It's a little bit annoying, but I suppose it's got to cater for all sorts. Not everyone has a wheel. And you know, you need space and obviously money to have a rim, like a wheel and everything, and pedals. And in the day, it is a game. You know, it's Forza Motorsport 6, Forza Horizon 3, for example, are games. In fact, they're all games. Everything I do is gaming. Just I like to keep it as realistic as possible for maximum enjoyment for myself. There's nothing to say that you can't run a sim with a pad. Anyhow, I've been playing around with this settings on the wheel and the game, excuse me, for a few days. I've tried quite a lot of different things, things going against what I would normally do. You know, I've especially played around with the DOR, the degrees of rotation. And I think I've come up with something now that's relatively playable, I have to say. I'll just go through some of my settings. So, as far as the DOR on the wheel, I've tried all of them, to be honest. 900, 1080, everything. I've even gone through all of them. And somewhere around, it depends on what you want, 720, 560, 6. It's your own personal preference, really, to be honest, out of those. There's a bit of a range between, I would say, 500 degrees and 750 degrees. Somewhere between that range there will work on this game. The problem is, as I've said before, the in-car graphic, the steering wheel, doesn't rotate fully round. It only goes round to, I don't know, is it 180 degrees or something on there? Or something like that. So anything over that, you get a lot of resistance through the wheel, which sort of encourages you to feel like the car's understeering. And what I found is when you drive with the pad, you're not quite as proportionate with the controls on the pad, but the in-car wheel never really gets to its full lock. The car's a little bit more responsive, and it sort of flicks back again when you release the stick to turn. So the car can be kept more. It's more responsive when you go around your corners, so the car stays online. And with the wheel, you find, yeah, it should be better. It should be better. It's just you've got to have a different driving style to perhaps, if you compare it to a sim, it's like Assetto Corsa. It's completely different. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but yeah. So I've settled with 720. After playing around with it for a few days, that was quite good. My force feedback is, I mean, on the wheel it's only 40%. I'm not sure if that overwrites what's in game, but in game I think, I looked yesterday, I only got 20%. I got a very light force feedback on there. I've got the shock resistance on my wheel at 30%, ABS 30%. I think that's just to do with the sensitivity of the braking. I've got linear that's always off when you use a wheel, no dead zones, and one with the Fanatic wheel which helps is having the drift assist up at 5. That's all you've got, it's maximum 5. It seems to, it doesn't help you drift, as the name suggests. It's just the forces help me know when the car's drifting, and I think that's pretty neat. On brake force, generally stays around 30 to 40% on the pedals. So we're going to have a little go at this Porsche expansion. We're driving the Porsche 944 Turbo. Now, I like this car. You know, I had one of these, the non-turbo version, 1984 model. Is the one I had, and I think they're really good. I mean, it was a proper, what I feel, a little road GT car. I think they had a bit of a nickname, like a poor man's Porsche. You could probably go with that. I mean, I've never been able to afford a 911, which is what I'd like to have bought, but that's way out of my league. So the next best thing was one of these. I quite like the way these sound. I had the 2.5 or 2.6? Can't remember the size of the engine there, but it was normally aspirated, and very cheap actually. I only paid 1,500 quid for it, but it was immaculate. I mean, I loved it. It had a nice sporty exhaust on it, and it was great. You know, so these are sort of my era. I would have liked to have the turbo version like we've got here, but you know, needs must. I didn't go down that route. But yeah, the car is, back to the game. The car does feel tight. It's quite responsive, and it can hold its own against the rest of the sort of the grid out there. So what we're going to do, this is race 2. I've done race 1. Can't remember where that was on now. Did it a few days ago now. I think it was Simona Raceway, I think. Anyway, we're back at Brands Hatch full GP circuit. I'll try and give you my thoughts on the car, the way the game plays with my wheel settings. Can't guarantee that I'm going to win, although I have done quite well recently. But what does that mean? That means nothing. I don't know, these mod slots, I'm not sure. The only things I like about them is you can increase your XP and experience and credits. I quite like that idea. I mean, I've just got these on standard. I've got a grip engineer, gives you a bit more grip and a bit more power. And I mean, I never run driving line anyway, so I just use up and up. You keep winning mods and things, and I do put them on, but I try to not get too overexcited about the mods on this game, to be honest. It's a good idea in principle. It's just I'm not so sure it works for me personally. That's all. So we can look at the starting grid. See, you've got a lot of cars out there. I've got the settings on. Can't remember the settings on now. I think it's either extreme. Don't think it's on unbeatable, but the aggression I've put down because they take you off. The AI are a little bit over aggressive. Good range of cars there. We should in theory be quite competitive. So we'll go to start race. I'm using the obviously the wheel and pedals. I'm going to use my stick shift. I don't use a clutch. Doesn't seem to work very well in Forza, so I just use my stick shift H pattern, and we'll go from there. One thing you do forget about this game is the quality of the graphics. They are actually very good. So here we go. Hold it on the revs. Not quite as much as I wanted. Change gear a bit late. Got a couple of Porsches up ahead. They should be quite comfortable. I'm not sure that Buick could be as quick as it would be. They're rubbish, aren't they, in real life? So I've got, I don't know how many laps I've got, is it 3 laps, something like that? So I think the wheel handles quite well. It's a bit more progressive. Would have better got down the inside there. There's someone off up there, not on the grass. When he came back out and hit me, he's still trying to get past. Whoa. Oh, that was out of order. That actually wasn't my fault. I was taken off. I'm still using the clutch. Let's remember, I don't need to use the clutch. Right. We're falling way back now. It gives you a chance to at least try to sort of drift the car slightly. One of my favourite cars of all time, one of them, the RS 500. Going a bit slow here. We lost momentum again. There's some really shit colour schemes on some of these cars. This is going to get a bit dicey through it. The AI can still be a little bit OTT. Oh, like that. But the game's pretty good fun, I have to say. You got to get you out of your head that taken off again. That it's not a sim. It's a game. And with that in mind, you go off. It's because I'm talking. It's really hard actually to talk and drive. But I like the game now. I've got the wheel settings as they are. I mean, I'm not doing very well at the moment because I'm talking, and I haven't been. I've only had one little quick go on this configuration. But you've got a good resistance on the wheel. It's not flipping about everywhere, and I've got, as you turn, the wheel is resisting the turning to give you the force feedback in the right areas. It's certainly not on par with things like Automobilista and even Assetto Corsa. That I'll say that even that's on the Xbox as well. But I think they can do a lot. They could have done a lot better. Hopefully, by the time they get down to Forza Motorsport 7, they'll have this nailed and have wheel support, which would be really good. So I'm going to finish way down. Not sure I'll get past these two. Maybe. Depends how much traction I've got. So there we go. 17th overall. I mean, I'm not all about that, but the game much better. I'll be quite happy to go over my settings in game with you. So I've told you at the beginning of the footage there of what I have. I'll just get out of this. Now, if I go to exit, options, wheel. So I've just got layout, basic layout 1. I'm not sure. There's a setting that says rumble. I don't know whether to put that on or off actually, but anyway, I've left it on. I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. On to advanced. So these are my settings. You've got like the inside dead zone, which is when you first start to steer, and the outside dead zone. So I've got the 0 to 100 because you want like no free play there at all, and get maximum rotation out your wheel. Same with acceleration. What I've done there with the, let me just go through that again, hang on a minute. Acceleration dead zone, inside and outside, de-acceleration access, the brake. So I didn't want the brake to be quite as responsive. I don't know why why don't they just put brake? De-acceleration, that's just rubbish. But it has to have maximum travel. A clutch, well, I did have it set like that to try and stop it being so snappy. It doesn't matter, I've got the clutch off now. So I was trying it with the clutch and trying to heel and toe, but it wasn't really working. I mean, the handbrake, it's just mapped to a button. Again, I've just, so it isn't quite as responsive. And it's difficult with a button, I suppose. The vibration scale, see, there's enough there. I mean, I didn't want it rattling away there, so 30%. Interestingly, I might have said at the beginning that our force feedback was low, but what I meant was on the steering wheel it's set low. The vibration is set low on the game, so it doesn't rattle myself to pieces. And the force feedback scale is 100%. It's not over. It's not pulling the wheel out of my hands anymore on there. So, and I've settled with 720 for the DOR, the wheel rotation. So I'd give that a go. If you've got a steering wheel, give it a bash. It's certainly a lot more playable than it used to be. Again, you can tweak the settings yourself for your own personal sort of feel, but enjoy it. I mean, it's a game which I can sort of recently now get back into because I can use the wheel. So don't go by my driving skills. It's not really. I wasn't there to try and win. I mean, is that a racing driver's excuse? No, not really. That's just, I'm being serious there. I wasn't actually trying to do well. All I was trying to do was compete and talk to you about the wheel and my feedback on it. That's a reasonably underpowered car in relation to what some of the cars are in Forza. Maybe I'll do another one with just a test drive with the more powerful cars. But I hope you enjoyed that one. First sort of feedback of and video of 2017, with hopefully more to come. Some different games. I've got Ride 2 to have a look at. What else have I got? I might actually do while we're on the Forza franchise, is Forza Horizon 3. Might do that in a minute actually, because I've got a little bit of time. Assetto Corsa, when that comes out. There's Project Cars, which I haven't tried for a while. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to the next one. Give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.